Chamatkar Sandhu here for MMAPLUS at a special media event promoting UFC Fight Night London, where we just had the media workouts and a special Fight Club Q&A hosted by the newest commentator for UFC Europe and Middle East and Africa, John Gooden. John, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. And before I actually ask some of the questions I want to ask you, I just want to firstly say on behalf of all of the UK MMA media here, congratulations on getting the gig. Can you just talk us through what it was like to get the phone call from the UFC and what you actually went through to get the gig in the first place?
Oh, well, firstly, thanks a lot. You know, it means a lot. I've been trying to represent for the UK for a while now, so it's those efforts that we're all putting in. They're clearly being recognised, so it's kind of a victory for the little guy, right? So the phone call came through, and I mean, you just never know. You never know whether it's going to happen. I went through the audition process, the screen testing, did some work with Dan to see how it would work out, and obviously they liked it, and here we are. We're all set and ready to go.
Well, I think this is your first official gig. You just wrapped up the Fight Club Q&A. Is this the first fully official UFC gig that you've done?
I guess since I signed a contract, if you like. I did the Fight Club Q&A in Manchester, so I did that one. So it was slightly familiar, but it was really good here. It was a really relaxed atmosphere, and people got involved, so it was really fun to do.
How close are you getting with Dan Hardy?
Oh, Dan's a cool guy. You know, who doesn't want to be best buddies with Dan Hardy? You know, so yeah, Dan's a really good guy. I need to spend more time with Dan and do some more professional stuff, you know, and get things nailed down for Saturday. But yeah, Dan's so interesting, and it's hard just to, you know, not quiz him about his fight career, you know, his journey of self-discovery that he's been on, and his opinions on stuff. He's got an opinion on everything. He's really educated, and that is so going to come across in the commentary, and you know, kind of down to me to open him up for that.
I was speaking to Dan earlier on, and I asked him, I said, are your roles defined, so to speak, in terms of one of you being a color commentator and one of you being the play-by-play guy? And he said no. He said that the roles are going to be really interchangeable. Do you agree with that as well?
Oh, God. Did he say that?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's Dan for you, you know, and he's very fluid, and he's going to let it go where it goes. And I don't think he's going to be stamping my foot under the table if I start saying, you know, he's using an underhook to get out of that. But listen, in my ear, I got the producer queuing me in with promotional stuff and helping that broadcast get steered around, and I've got to lead Dan. So we're not changing the products. You know, the UFC product works fantastically well. It's just a couple of different voices and some different opinions. And those opinions are mostly going to come from Dan.
Well, I know you've got to run. You've got a car waiting outside for you. But I've got one question, and I don't know if the media has been probing this too much, but I've been fascinated with this Channel 5 deal, because I don't think a lot of people outside of the UK realise how big this actually is. Yeah. For the very first time, the UFC is going to be on every single home in the UK. There's no subscription. You can watch it for free. And because you're going to be part of the commentary team, there's going to be more UFC fans, or more fans in general, more television viewers that are going to be hearing your voice for the very first time. Does that put any extra pressure on the fact that you're going to be making your debut for the UFC commentary-wise?
I've just been sick in my mouth. No, you know what? You've got to go out there and do a job. Whether I was doing a small show or, you know, a slightly bigger show, the pressure for me is I've got to represent the fighters. I've got to do the very best that I can, and I've got to represent the company that I'm working for. You know, I'm not going to lie. You know, there's a lot of people watching, and a lot of MMA fans are opinionated, you know, so I'm just going to do the best that I can. You've got to ignore that. You've got a job to do. It's just a camera. Whoever's sitting behind it is irrelevant, I guess.
Well, best of luck on Saturday night. I hope it all goes well, and I look forward to catching up with you post-fight to actually get your first reaction to how everything went for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, and let's keep doing it for UKMMA, right?
Brilliant, absolutely. Thanks a lot for your time, John.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.